Welcome, friends. My name is Dorina Gilmore, and I'm excited to be sharing with you today a devotion that is part of a book that is going to be released in September of 2020. It's called Walk, Run, Soar. And this is a devotional book and training journal that is designed specifically for runners, but I believe that people from all different walks of life can really appreciate it as well. And so I'm really excited about being able to share this with you. I hope that we can stay in touch more personally, and so I want to invite you to hop over to my website when we're done with this, dorinagilmore.com, and please sign up there for my weekly Glorygram. I include recommendations, recipes, a short little essay of encouragement, and some running tips over there. Today, we are going to dive into this theme of walk, run, soar. And I want to talk about this idea that your pace is your pace. It's a little phrase that one of my writer mentor friends, Emily P. Freeman, introduced to me. And I say it to myself often, your pace is your pace. And that's because that little phrase is a reminder to me that I don't have to be walking or running at anyone else's pace, but my own pace. And I'm running my own race that God set out for me. I want to start by telling you a little story about a few weeks ago. My husband Sean and I were able to go over to Monterey. We live in California, and we have been training a team of people to run the Monterey Half Marathon. We do this every year. It's called the Remember Haiti team, and this is our 10th year of doing this fundraiser running team. And what we do is we train people for 3 months to run in the race, and they also help us fundraise. So this year we were raising money so that we could build a widow's home in Haiti through the organization called Haiti Go. So anyway, we went over there a couple of weeks ago to do the race. There were several that were running the 5K race on Saturday morning, including our middle daughter who was running with me. And then on Sunday morning, we were running the half marathon. And my husband, Sean, was helping to pace one of our youngest members, who's a freshman in high school, Josiah, and he was running a half marathon, which is 13.1 miles, in case you didn't know. And he was pacing Josiah to run this distance, which is the longest he's ever run before. And so by pacing him, what that means is that Sean's job really was to help him stay at this predetermined speed in the race. And that was to help kind of push Josiah, to help him to stay on track, to know if he was going too fast or too slow. And Sean has done this myriads of times through the years, but it was really exciting because Josiah ended up running a 7:16 pace per mile, and he ended up running the half marathon in 1 hour and 35 minutes total. It was amazing. We were so proud of him, especially for his first time, and he even got 3rd place in his age group, so we got to stick around and cheer him on at the award ceremony where he got a special award. Now, I was also pacing my friend Amber, and we were running a little bit slower. We were more about 9:35 pace, but in that, it was, I think, my privilege really to be able to run alongside my friend, to encourage her as she was encouraging me, and even especially in those final miles of the race, which tend to be really hard, and when runners slow down the most, just being able to encourage Amber. We talked about gratitude. We called out throughout all of mile 11, we called out the things that we were thankful for, and it really just lifted our spirits so we could get to the finish line with energy. I share this with you because I believe that it has some correlation to Jesus and his role in our lives, that he is really our pacer. He is the one who runs alongside us. And what happens is that when you have a pacer, you don't have to spend so much time and so much mental energy worrying about where you're going and how fast you're going. You can just kind of settle in and follow your pacer. In the book of Ephesians, it's actually a letter that the Apostle Paul wrote to a church plant, the Church of Ephesus, that he founded. And the letter is believed to include some of the greatest theology and truth that Paul wrote. The theme of chapter 2 that I'm going to be sharing with you today, the theme is grace. And that we as believers, that we get to enjoy the gift of grace because Jesus died on the cross for us, that we do not need to strive. We do not need to do good works or to be just good people so that we can earn our way to heaven. That our belief in Christ and our profession of our faith actually is a grace that he gives us, and we don't have to earn our way anywhere. But it's interesting because in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10, it says this, "For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus, so we can do the good things he planned for us to do long ago." And this is the New Living Translation. I love that word masterpiece. For we are God's masterpiece. And the reason why I'm sharing this verse today, because I think it's important for us to remember that we are unique in the way that he created us. You know, when I was growing up in the city of Chicago, my friends and I, we would actually take the train downtown on the weekends, and we loved to go to the Art Institute of Chicago. And there's some amazing masterpieces in the Art Institute. One of my favorite rooms to go into was the Impressionist room, and especially to look at the works of Monet, the painter. And each one of those paintings was so unique. And so if you got real close, you could see the nuances and the different colors and the ways that it almost had this kind of bleary, ethereal look to the painting. But then if you moved farther back, then it was this beautiful landscape. So many of his paintings depict a landscape, and there's many famous ones there. But you know what? Each one, again, like I said, is unique. And so when I think of the word masterpiece, I think of those paintings at the Art Institute that were done by Claude Monet. It's a reminder also of this reality, because in this word, Paul says we are God's masterpiece. I don't know about you, but I don't always live like I'm God's masterpiece. In fact, sometimes I feel like I'm really down on myself, or I'm spending so much time looking around at other people, other women, other runners around me, and wondering, am I running fast enough? Am I doing well enough? Measuring myself up against them, instead of remembering that I'm God's masterpiece, that he created me this way on purpose, that he gave me specific gifts and works that he would like me to do so that I might be flourishing and reflecting his glory to others. You know, some different versions of this verse in the Bible, they use some different words. So in this NLT version, New Living Translation, they use the word masterpiece. But in the ESV, the English Standard Version, they use the word workmanship. So we are his workmanship. We're the work of God's hands. In the Home and Christian Bible, it says creation. And so when we look at these different words, it helps us to kind of understand the depth and the nuance of this idea that we are God's workmanship, his creation, his masterpiece. And the next part of the verse says, he created us anew in Christ Jesus so we can do the good things he planned for us to do long ago. So he already had some special things in mind for me to do and for you to do. And the ESV version kind of unpacks it this way. It says, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. And I love that phrase, walk in them, because our theme is to walk, run, and soar. And here's the thing, we were designed to walk with him. That really caught my attention. We were designed to walk, run, and soar with Jesus pacing us. And so when we believe in him, when we walk with him, when we bask in the beauty of his grace, then we are compelled to do those good works, to go out and to flourish in the way that he designed us to. And so back to those words from Emily Freeman, your pace is your pace. You know, that can be a motto for our running, for my writing, in my case, because I'm a writer. It can be a motto for our life. And you know, especially this time of year with the holidays coming up, it is so easy to get caught up in comparison and striving. And we have all these traditions and kids' Christmas concerts and the hosting of parties and gatherings and meals and all these things to do. And a lot of times those things yank our attention in a different direction. And we find ourselves traveling in this hurried and very harried pace instead of that natural pace that Jesus has designed for us. So what if we were to slow down? What if we were to enter into the season quietly, the way that baby Jesus did? And so my challenge question for you today is, will you let Jesus be your pacer this holiday season? Instead of letting the busyness of the season pace you, will you pivot away from the striving and the comparison to truly embrace the Christ child?